We're finally ready to get started on the plumbing. The first thing we're going to tackle is the drain and vent system, starting with the upstairs bathroom, just because it's the easiest to access. We started by drilling a hole for where our toilet flange is going to be, and then installing our toilet flange. And this goes like this. Oh, that's way better. So, these are the bolts for the toilet, which we can slide in later. We just need to make sure the center line is like 12 and a half. Make sure they actually fit. Perfect, okay. The next thing we're working on upstairs is doing the drains for our two sinks and our vanities. Now, I'm just measuring to make sure I know how far out the two drains are going to be from the main drain stack, as you'll see. And then as a quick note, we are just dry fitting all of this together at first, and then we're going to come back and glue it together later when we know it all fits and makes sense. Oh, just fantastic. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Did I double check? No, I did not. After getting the plumbing for the sinks all dry fitted together and working, I then moved on to the shower. I'm just drilling the hole for the shower drain and measuring out to make sure our drain is in the center of the shower. Every single time it just like falls through all fast. After finishing dry fitting everything together upstairs and getting all of our holes cut, we then moved on to all the plumbing under the second floor. This is the drain line that comes from those two vanity sinks, and it's going to go over, pick up the water from the shower, and then move all the way over to the end of the building, and then finally hook onto that toilet drain. Once it hits that toilet drain, we'll go into the main stack that goes down the wall and into the crawl space. So this will go there.
So should that be going out or up?
What do you mean? No, this should be going out. After gluing together all the pipes for the vanity, we then strapped it in place with some plumbing strap just to keep it secure. Once we got the upstairs vanities glued together, we then glued together everything under the floor. So when we were out here before, we made a mistake, whereas you can't use, well, you can use a 90-degree angle to go horizontal to horizontal. However, every time you change 90 degrees at one time on a horizontal, you need a clean out. So we don't really want to put a clean out here, because then we'd have to have a hatch to access it or something, or we'd have to go up into the wall up there. So we're going to cut it right about here, go 45, then come over and then go into a Y, and just have our shower come down and take a 90 over into the same place. So it didn't feel very good having to cut out what we had just glued together, but it needed to be done. The inspector would have pretty much failed us for that, and it's not correct, so we need to correct it. That's not quite right. That's right, though. After making sure our angle on that Y was going to fit, we then glued in our 45s and glued that little piece to the Y. We then went back and attached the P-trap underneath the shower to the drain above it, and then attached that to the Y as well. As you can see with our shower drain, we don't have it venting directly from where the P-trap is or anywhere near it. We're actually using what's called a wet vent, which means part of the drain line is acting as the vent for that particular fixture. We're close enough to the toilet vent and also close enough to our vanity vents that we could use either of those as our wet vent. These 3-inch fittings took a lot of glue, and we made sure that we put a lot of glue on them. That way we had a nice, good, positive connection. You're supposed to turn it about a quarter turn and then hold it tight for about 30 seconds to make sure everything sets in place.
Now look straight at the wall.
This last fitting before the 3-inch main stack goes into the crawl space and connects up with our drain line is our washing machine. So a washing machine requires a 2-inch P-trap and drain line. The drain sticking up from the P-trap also can't be less than 18 inches from the P-trap, and I think it can't be more than 32 inches or 36 inches. I think it's 32 inches from the P-trap either. So you have a range of how tall that drain can be. We did run into an issue with this main stack. The way the floor joists are laid out in our first and our second floor don't line up exactly. So we had to jog over about 4 inches to be able to drill a hole through the bottom and to be able to drill a hole through the top plates. So we used a couple of 45-degree angles to get us pretty close to where we needed to be, and then there was enough flex in the pipe that we were able to push it over.
Okay.
I went downstairs into the crawl space and gave it a little leverage in order to push it up into that coupling that we had there, but all in all it worked out and it should be good.
Okay, go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm out of space.
Okay, it's in there.
How far? Do you need to go more?
No, I think it's good.
Huh?
I think it's good. What are you breaking down there? Oh, hello. Okay.
Is that helping?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, you're as far as you can go.
After getting all of the drain lines for that upstairs bathroom and the washing machine plumbed, we then moved on to the vent system. So that vent goes up out of the 2 vanities and it goes across the ceiling of the bathroom over into the exterior wall. And then it's going to hook up with the 2-inch vent line that comes up right out of the main stack where the toilet is. And those two are going to hook together and come out of the roof in one line. You do need slope in your vent lines, that way if any condensation builds up, it's able to drain out of there and it doesn't clog it up. So we made sure we had adequate slope to our vents. Do you have enough? There we go. For our 2 master sinks, a clean out right above it. This will get clean out stuff. The vent goes up, goes through the roof. It's gonna go over and connect to this vent. And this vent is out of the main stack, and that's our toilet flange. So we come out of the 2 master bathroom sinks down here. We go at a 45 over. We come out of the shower, the 2-inch drain, into a P-trap, which you can't really see. Then both of those go into a Y, still 2-inch. It comes over. It goes into the main stack. Get my finger out there. It goes into the main stack, which is 3 inches, which above it has the toilet coming down, which we won't be using. It'll come down, do a long sweep 90, then come into a sanitary T. Above the sanitary T is a 2-inch vent. Comes down the sanitary T 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches. And then our laundry room, the washing machine comes in. We have another P-trap and it dumps into that as well. So when building this house, I wasn't really worried about being able to frame it or doing any of the electrical myself. The part that really worried me was doing the plumbing. With plumbing, you have to get it right. You have to have the right slope so things can drain. You have to have the right amount of vent so that things drain quickly and you don't bubble back up. And there's not a lot of really good resources or even videos on YouTube or diagrams online of how to plumb things and vent things correctly. So it's really hard to find a good resource unless you have a good plumber that you know that's willing to come out and help you. The thing we've been using to help us is Walt's Plumbing Code Reference Book. This is a fantastic book, and they have one specifically for residential plumbing codes. And it's really nice because it gives you all of the charts that you need to know how many drain fixture units you have in a certain drain and what your vent size needs to be. And it gives you lots of diagrams of how bathrooms and certain fixtures are actually plumbed. And then it has a really nice chart that tells you what type of fittings you can use where. So that was an indispensable tool for us while plumbing. Without that, I don't think I would have been as confident as I was. I'll put a link to that down in the description. And thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and like the video if you enjoyed it. And feel free to leave any questions you have in the comments below.
I love you guys.
Those seem long, but that's okay. I can always cut it shorter at the end of the day.